Hello and welcome back to the Geek and Bee. I am Bianca, the Bee in the Geek and Bee. Welcome back to my channel. So as always, I like to say you should always celebrate your geekiness. There is nothing wrong with being weird, dorky, or geeky at all, and you should never let anyone tell you otherwise, okay? So this video is another book recommendation video. So if you aren't aware, I started a new series where I'm going to be recommending books to you guys of books that I've read. I am a huge avid reader, and I spend most of my life since like high school nonstop reading, and I truly enjoy it. I think one of the greatest pleasures I have is enjoying a book. One huge thing that I read the most are sci-fi fantasy books, ones that are based on supernatural powers, which are probably most of what I'm going to be recommending for you guys in case you're interested in that. This is going to be the second video for the series. The first video I did is for a book series called Darkest Powers by Kelly Armstrong. It's an amazing series. If you guys want to find out about it, you should check it out, that video. So, the book series I'm going to recommend, my second book series, is called The Wicked Witches of the Mideast. So, it's a book series from Amanda M. Lee, and it is hilarious. It's a book about these three witches. They're all cousins, and their family. So, they have a crazy aunt, great aunt, as well as they all have mothers, so all single siblings, but even though they're cousins, they're pretty much like sisters because they grew up together like sisters. Okay, so they live in this town where they're witches, and the town it's like a tourist type town where they claim to be witches, even though no one really knows they actually are witches, and that whole town's like they have a theme to it they bring people in for. Okay? So pretty much what they do is they solve crimes, you know? So they're a bunch of which they all have their own special powers. Bae, she is the oldest. She has powers to see ghosts. And then she has her other cousins, which they don't really use their powers as much. The main power they get to use is Bae's powers. And what they pretty much do is they solve crimes, which is kind of weird, but awesome at the same time. So not only do there's like surprising crazy murders that happens in this throughout the series, throughout the books, well in each book, that they help to contribute to trying to solve while using their magical powers, as well as like not making it too obvious because they can't let people know they really are. And one huge part is they have an aunt named Tilly who is super crazy, and she joins them on these whole hunts and investigations, and of course they continue with life. They're all adults, and they live in a guest house on their family's property. Their mothers own a bed and breakfast that people come to as part of the whole touristy type thing, and they all get boyfriends. So Bae ends up meeting a guy and eventually dating one that's FBI. So she contributes to helping him solve cases that happens within that town, and it's just hilarious. I'm probably doing a bad job explaining it, but it is just hilarious. So there's the main book series, and then they have a series of shorts. And I love it because it's just so funny. I just sit there laughing because it's like such a family type thing, the way they interact with one another and the things that happen. Some of them are just crazy, especially with their great aunt. She is nuts for an old lady, but she's awesome at the same time and total badass. And like they go around like solving these sometimes not even murders. Some of them are murders, or some of them are mysteries, and some of them are not even crimes, just things that are happening. The short stories are ones that are like, they're shorter series, so not as big as the normal book, but they are awesome just as much. The normal book series has 19 books in it. They're pretty short books, so they're not very big. And then the short stories are 15 books. And then they also another series called The Wicked Witches of the Midwest Fantasy, where they have like fairy tale type ones where it's more like it's a bit more with the supernatural. Either it's like a fairy tale land or aliens or other things that's not particular. It's like a continuation almost, but it's a little bit different. This, unfortunately, because certain especially with like the shorts, you have to like keep track on what came out when, because of the fact that some of them will continue off from information that was given from like the main book, and it'll be in the short story or vice versa, But it's an amazing book. It's a supernatural book with a family of witches, which are pretty awesome, and they are absolutely hilarious. I love the whole family dynamic to it, and the way they interact with one another, which is like a normal family and normal like sisters and everything and aunts and stuff like that, and the way they interact with people, and the great aunt's hilarious and crazy, and I don't know, I like it. It's a great supernatural witch book, which I love, which is not always easy to see, just straight up witches. It's not like that's pretty much what it is. It's only witches. There's really no other supernatural in it, but it's great because it's still like they're still living their daily lives while all this stuff is happening. They still have relationships and boyfriends, and they have family problems and this issue with neighbors or whatever else, and it's also going on while whatever mystery is going on. It's kind of like a mystery. You know, a certain mystery that's going on, they use their powers to figure it out, or they as a family work together on it. They have a crazy aunt who has this thing say you're on my list, and she is the most powerful of them all, and she does these tricks on them when she like puts them in like other fantasy worlds and stuff like that she controls, and they have to go through all this to get out of it, which is hilarious and crazy, and it's great. I like it. You have like Amazon Unlimited, you can read it for free, or if you get it there, I've seen Barnes and Nobles, online I found out they have it in paper book. You get it either for the Nook, or audiobook has it and stuff like that. You could do it that way. One great site that I use to keep track of all of my books, that's what I do for my books and my shows. I have a site that keeps track of all the stuff I read and things I want to read or whatnot, is called Goodreads. And they have literally all books, all series, and you can go and keep track of whatever book you want to read, books you read, or the books you're currently reading, and it helps you see all the books within a certain series, so you can be up to date on everything. Okay, so I highly recommend you check out Goodreads for that, because it is a great tool to help to keep everything all organized, and for you to remember everything that needs to be read or that you want to read, and make sure you're reading it in the order it needs to be read. Okay, so yeah, that is my second book recommendation, but it's a great series and I highly recommend you guys read it. I'm a little bit behind on a couple, so I have to go catch up on it because I love it and it's hilarious, and I just sit there on the train and burst out laughing from whatever nonsense is going on there. Alright, so that's it. Alright, so thank you guys so much for joining me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. Also, you should turn on your notifications to be aware whenever I post a new video. I do one at least once a week. Sometimes I do two, depending on the week. I mainly do a bunch of Harry Potter and Charmed, and I like to incorporate Disney as well. Just anything that I enjoy, any geeky thing that I do and that I enjoy is part of this channel. Alright? So thank you guys so much again, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.